Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're taking a look at another exclusive Kingdom Transformer. And since last Friday we covered the upgraded Decepticon leader, I figured this time around we'll take a look at the Autobot leader. This would be Optimus Prime's successor, Rodimus Prime. Now, of course, for those of you who have followed the Transformer lore, we all know that Rodimus Prime is the upgraded form of Hot Rod. If you didn't know that by now, well, sorry to spoil it to you, but that's been common knowledge for 35 years. And of course, since Rodimus is based on a Generation 1 character, we'll take a look here side by side with his Generation 1 release. And as you can see, they are roughly close to the same height, which is a surprise to me. I didn't expect them to be this close in height. But, however, the modern version here on the left is a considerable improvement over the original toy. As the original toy had a very, very basic transformation and only had articulation in the shoulders. So, needless to say, for a character that was going to become prominent in the series, his earliest action figure was clearly a disappointment. Set him aside for a second here. Now, of course, there are a lot of fans that have speculated that this Rodimus was basically a retool of the Studio Hot Rod. Well, for starters, let's take a comparison look. Right here is Studio 86 Hot Rod, which came out the same year as this toy. And as you can see, with their basic form, the two toys are not identical. There would be a gimme that there would be some retooling done to Rodimus to make him look older and more experienced. But as you can see by the height difference, it is clearly not the same toy. Now, did they take some of the inspiration from this toy to help make this one? Absolutely. So there are some similar bits for the transformation, but they are not exactly the same. So, that should put that debate to rest. Now, of course, one of the key things that the original Rodimus had, that this one carries over, is, of course, the trailer. Which the trailer, in this case, forms a mini battle platform. And what's nice about this one is that this one has actual hand grips that Rodimus can hold on to. Remove him of his guns. Reposition Rodimus's arms so that he can actually grip the control sticks. And then there we go. Rodimus actually looks like he's in battle. But of course, we also get some of the energy things that have been popular in the War for Cybertron line. Just add those to the ends of the gun. And there we go. We got some firepower action going here. Turn it this direction so everybody can see it from a forward perspective. And it's also so we can compare it with a little camera adjustment to the Generation 1 version And it's kind of, there's no comparison here, folks. The new one is definitely better in every way. Not only by being bigger, but it actually has a means that Rodimus can stay attached to it. The original one didn't even have footholds for Rodimus to be locked into. Any slight motion and he'd fall off of the platform. All in all, the original platform was kind of a major waste. Alright, before we get too far into Rodimus, let's take a look at all of his loose parts, since he's got quite a fair amount of loose pieces here. Now, of course, there are two of them that are kept hidden on the toy, so we'll start with them. The first piece we will discuss, of course, is the Matrix. Which, of course, would be a nice symbol for Rodimus to have. Of course, as an added bonus, it includes an energy spark that can be attached to it. It's got a couple of clips on the backside, so it just clamps right on. Or at least that's how it's supposed to. Just clamp right on. Okay, it's not going on that way, so we'll try the other way again. There we go. It's a little finicky to get it on there, but you get the idea. It's kind of like the one that came with Studio Hot Rod. Now, of course, this piece would be found inside Rodimus. When his chest plate is open, it just easily slides in there. And then you just fold the chest back up, and there it's hidden. The other hidden piece is this red tray. This is a little storage tray to hold a lot of the loose accessories. This little storage tray slides in here at the front of, well, actually it's at the back end of the trailer. Just line it up with the slots and it slides into place. Now, of course, we take a look at some of his other accessories, starting with his gun. His gun is listed as a Photon Eliminator, just like it was in the Generation 1 era. And in fact, with comparing it next to the Generation 1 rifle, it does carry over some of the same design elements, namely in the form of the wings at the back end. For storage, the gun's barrel does fold backward, so that it reduces the length of the gun so it can be stored, and you don't have to worry about breakage. And of course, with the dual posts underneath of it, Rodimus can hold the gun two-handed. We will demonstrate that for you here, that Rodimus can indeed hold his gun with both hands. Get it back in your hand, Rodimus. It's a slight challenge, but Rodimus can easily hold his gun with both hands. Rodimus also includes a sword. Of course, the sword has a couple of holes in it for storage. But it also has a little post that can be folded out. And in that way it can be stored on the side of the vehicle, or even inside the trailer. We also have the cannon from his trailer. It's all done up as one piece, as it connects to the trailer via this post here at the bottom. These shields can fold for storage. And of course the gun ratchets down at the bottom. Ratchets up here at the top, and it can also turn all the way around. And of course the hand grips can be raised and lowered. Then of course we got some of the weapon effects. We got some smoke here. We got two pieces of black smoke. These can connect onto the exhaust pipes, so you can get some of that thick black smoke that Hot Rod was famous for discharging. And then, of course, we have, aside from the matrix effect, we have here 7 pieces of trans-blue blast effects. And a couple of medium-sized ones that are a little different, because one's a little narrower than the other one. We got one large unit that looks like 2 of them put together. And it is stuck together, so don't try to take it apart. You might break it. You get one long, skinny one. And you get 3 end caps. And that covers all of Rodimus's accessories. Now we'll take a look at Rodimus's articulation, and as you would expect of a figure of his scale, he does have quite a lot of articulation going for him. His head can be turned from side to side, and it does look up and down a bit. His arms can be stretched out about so far to the side, and they rotate all the way around, but you will have to move the yellow fin to allow full access. His arms are double jointed at the elbow, so you can bring his arm up 180 degrees. And he does have a swivel at the bicep, so he does feature G.I. Joe style battle grip. His fingers are articulated. The middle ring and small fingers all each have one joint, and they're fused together. The index or trigger finger has 2 joints. One at the base of the hand and one at the middle of the finger. And that applies on both hands. He can be twisted a bit at the hips. That's as far as he can go with it. You can spread his legs apart about so far, so he can't do a complete splits. His leg can be raised up about 100 degrees. And you can bend him at the knee 90 degrees. And of course, there is articulation at his ankle. So while he has slightly less articulation than most of the figures, he still has a fair amount going for him. Okay, let's get Rodimus transformed here. And he does have quite a few steps going for him. But he's really not all that hard to transform. First of all, we want to make sure that his hands are as close to being closed up as possible. Then we're going to come down here to his feet, and you're going to fold the feet back to the back. Then we're going to come around here to the back of his legs. You're going to open up these side panels here, and you should see some pipes. You're going to fold out those pipe sections. You'll have to do it one at a time because they are a snug fit, because these are where the rear wheels are. So they will take a little bit of effort to get out. Be nice if this was a little bit softer on the plastic, but at least it's not all the hard plastic from the 1980s. Once the wheels are out, you can bend the leg panels in half, and they do have a little post on them here, and they will connect at a spot on the back of the wheels. But we also got to pull the wheels down out of the casing. That's easiest done from the side. Unless you like tearing up your fingernails. You know, if you're into that kind of torturous thing. Just bend it in half and connect it into place. Then we can get the feet refolded in. Yep, we jumped the gun before we did that. We don't want to connect them just yet, because we've got to fold Rodimus's legs in. Then you can close up the legs. Getting ahead of myself here, folks. I'm so excited to play with this toy. This is only about the second time since I got him that I've really had him out and played with him. And it was really dumb luck that I found him. Alright, once the legs are in, then you can connect them together. Like so. And pretty much we've reduced Rodimus to about half of his size. Now we're going to come up and work on his arms. Fold his arms out to the sides like so. On each side of the arm there will be a little bit of red plastic that you should be able to pop free from his arm. See if we can get it on the other arm to come free here. I may have done too good of a job. Pop it from the wrong end. Comes from the top of the arm down, and then folds around from the smokestacks. So, let's try that again over here. There we go. Finally got it loose. And fold out. Once it's folded out like that, then you can rotate the exhaust stacks. Then you're going to fold the plastic over so that it covers his hand. Like that. You rotate this piece and the small piece out to the front so that it kind of completes the side look. And there we go. That gets the hands hidden. Get the instructions a little closer so I can read them. Next up here at his shoulders, the tire should detach. At least a thin piece of tire should detach. You just pop it free, pull the tire down, and then you can reconnect the pieces together to form a complete wheel. There we go. Sometimes it takes a little effort. The next we need to pop free the fin unit from the windshield. Once it's freed, we will rotate it so that it's facing the opposite direction. Then we can pop the driver's canopy free from his back and fold it back a bit. Might have to adjust it a little bit so that we get a little clearance here. Then next, we're going to come up here to his robot chest. You're going to pop the top portion of the chest free from some little holes on the back, and just let it rest against the rest of the chest area. Then we'll grab the whole chest area. You're going to fold it down, and we will rotate Rodimus's head so that it is pointing out the back way. Then next, we're going to start adjusting the arms position by raising them up like so. And you're going to bring them down to the side and then try to raise them outward again so you get this black plastic out. Just like that. Now, once that's done, you're going to raise the arms up a bit because you're going to rotate just the portion the arms are in. This may take a little adjustment to get it around the windshield. That section of the arms also detaches pretty easily too, so do be careful as you do it. So now, once you've got them rotated around, we get to readjust things to get the head up and under. Once the head and chest unit are up and under, right here on the underside of the chest is some little plastic tabs that need folded out. Then we're going to come down here to the legs, and we get to rotate their section all the way around. Now that everything has been rotated into the proper position, we can come up here, attach the cockpit glass to the chest area to form the front of the car. Then it's a matter of wiggling the arms underneath and into position. Gotta get the legs reattached because they came apart on us. There's a few posts and holes to line up and connect. And also, while you're at it, make sure that the exhaust pipes all connect up. Just shift things as necessary to wiggle everybody into position. Now, once that's in position, we can fold the rear section down. It should snap into place. And then lastly, along the side here, there are some plastic bits that just fold back over. And you've transformed Rodimus into a version of Hot Rod. Of course, it's going to look the same as many of the Hot Rods that have been released, but he's also a bigger size. Of course, to complete the look, we got to put the trailer on. So we'll set that bit aside, and we'll bring up the trailer. Now, of course, the trailer can be stored. This can be set up in such a way where the guns can sit either inside it or on top of it. We're going to get it set up so the gun sits inside. And of course that just involves folding it down, fold down the side panels, rest the gun like so, and fold down the grips. And then it just attaches right here like so. Now, of course, if you wish to store things in here, things can be stored along the sides. The weapons are laying down here on the floor. So we'll kind of get out the sword and we'll force out the post so we can attach it. We'll fold over the gun. We can attach it to a couple of spots near the back end. Now we just got to raise things up here at the front till it snaps into place. Actually, this is the rear of the thing. Then we come over here. You fold this section up and over. Also make sure this little red ramp comes up too. Then you can bring up the sides. Unfortunately, the gun won't allow it to close very well. I don't think... Nope, the sword's brushing up against it too. So they can't really be stored in there, despite the way it looks. And then it just all snaps together. So then we'll just pop out the tray here. The gun's a little big for the tray, so we'll just have to store the gun in the box, but keep the sword from getting bent up, we'll just drop the sword in. And in it goes. And then all we have to do is slide Rodimus inside. He should go back until we can't move any further. He is locked in place. And there you have it, folks. Rodimus is now transformed into his Cybertronian RV mode. Now, of course, as we had stated earlier, you could attach the thick black smoke to him. You would just take it and plug it in back here. One of them appears to have escaped on me somewheres. Ah, there it is. There's the other one. Rotate him around and... had it right the runway. Just plug it in and there we go. The big wheel keeps on turning. Rubber just keeps on burning. Now, of course, how does it compare to the original? Well, there's the original right in front of it. A pale comparison. But all in all, it does retain a lot of the things that made the original such a classic. So now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Rodimus Prime? Well, like many of the fans, I was skeptical when Hasbro announced that Rodimus would be the Commander class toy for Kingdom. I mean, our previous ones for this new class type had been Jetfire in the Siege line, and in Earthrise we got Skylynx. Those were a pair of giant characters. Picking Rodimus to be the new one seemed like a downgrade in comparison. However, upon looking at the toy, Rodimus is a pretty good toy all around. It does capture the essence of what the original toy should have done, but didn't, unfortunately, and improves upon it. If there's any real features to gripe about, I would say the storage holes inside the trailer are kind of pointless, since you can either store in it the larger cannon or the smaller weapons. You can't do both. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. The little tray to store things in it is a nice bonus. I will give it that much. But all in all, this is definitely a toy worthy of the one that would succeed Optimus Prime as leader of the Autobots. I'm sure he would be proud of it. I'm sure Rodimus would appreciate it too. Just so long as he doesn't let it get to his ego. At any rate, that's my review of the Kingdom version of Rodimus Prime. I hope you all enjoyed it. We also ask that everyone here please like, share, comment, and subscribe, because we really appreciate the feedback here at the channel. This is Sparkster1701 reminding you all, Rodimus Prime had trouble accepting the mantles of leadership, but thankfully for him, he did have his friends and allies to rely on to keep him going in that role. While he may not have always been accepting of it, we can also show to our friends that we are accepting of them, and they're being there for us whenever we need them. I'll be here for any of you. I hope I can ask the same of you. And I'll catch you all later.